Alright, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about the whole Antonio Brown saga and pretty much everything that he has done to earn the title of Mr. Big CTE. More on that later. But yeah, I'm going to be detailing the Antonio Brown saga. Leave a like if you enjoy, because I'm going to be making videos like this all offseason related to the NFL. Leave a like right now, or you can always wait until the end, and hopefully I'll have earned it, and let's get right into it. So the character issue started even before Antonio Brown got to Central Michigan, because he was kicked out of Florida International University after fighting a security guard. And then him, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell over the next 4 years or so formed the Killer Bees. He joined a wide receiver room with Mike Wallace and Hines Ward, and those guys were on the decline and retired. And it was basically Antonio Brown's time to take over. So in 2015, he looked like he was on track to being one of the best receivers in the NFL, and he was one of the best receivers in the NFL. But in the 2015 wildcard game, he suffered a nasty, nasty intentional hit to the head by Vontaze Burfict, which ended up costing the Bengals the game and quite possibly Brown his sanity. But what I don't understand is it fair to blame CTE for all this? Because millions, not millions, but thousands of athletes are living with CTE, current and former, and none of them act like Antonio Brown besides Chandler Jones. So let's fast forward to 2018, because this was the year after the Steelers had lost in the divisional round against Jacksonville, and where things really started to get going for Antonio Brown. So in week 2 against the Chiefs that year, the Steelers ended up losing when Patrick Mahomes threw 6 touchdowns. Antonio Brown got 18 targets. He ended up missing the team meeting the next day because, quote-unquote, we suck. He drove 100 miles per hour down McKnight Road in Pittsburgh, which has a 45 mile per hour speed limit. He trashed a condo and threw furniture out a window, a 14th floor window nonetheless, which almost hit some people, notably a toddler. He killed a home aquarium full of piranhas and refused to pay the man who installed the tank. Midway through the year, the Steelers were 7-2-1, and Ben Roethlisberger threw an interception on the goal line, which led to Antonio Brown going on LeBron James' podcast and just completely blasting him.
He feel like he the owner. Bro, you threw this shit to the D-line, man. How the fuck I'm gonna run it back?
Week 17, he did not show up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Baltimore was in a win-and-you're-in situation, and Antonio Brown just did not see a need to show up, and the Steelers were eliminated from the playoffs after the Ravens won. Then, that offseason, he dyed his mustache blonde, which may be the most appalling thing on this list. By the way, I want to take this time to say I did not compile this list. I got a lot of help from Reddit, so I will link the comment where I found this list in the description below. He refused to pay a chef similar after he dyed his mustache blonde because he thought he threatened him by placing a fish head in the freezer. And by the way, the fish head was saved to make a soup. And then he owed a doctor $11,000 in expenses and refused to pay him. After this, he demanded a trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He thought it was best that he took his talents elsewhere. But then on an Instagram live stream, he became Mr. Big Chest. He detailed that he did not want to be called Antonio Brown anymore. So I will do him right. I will fulfill his request, and I will call him Mr. Big Chest.
Call me Mr. Big Chest. Big Chest for now on. Big Chest Brown for now on.
So after Mr. Big Chest's bizarre rant on Instagram Live, he threw a fit over Juju winning team MVP and trashed him on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. And the Steelers finally fulfilled Mr. Big Chest's trade request that would have sent him to Buffalo. But Josh Allen was not developed at this time, so Antonio Brown refused. Then he agrees to be sent to the Oakland Raiders in their last season in Oakland. And they were on Hard Knocks this year, so we got quite a bit of Antonio Brown. He showed up to Raiders training camp in a hot air balloon. The NFL would not approve his helmet because it was too old for their safety standards. Then there was that whole thing about how he got frostbite on his feet. I don't remember what happened with that. He tried to paint over his old helmet, hoping no one would notice. He acquired a newer version of the same model of helmet, which the NFL also refused to let him use. He finally picked out a new helmet and finally showed up to Raiders training camp. Then he gets fined by the Raiders for not attending training camp, tweeted the fines, and then he tried to fight Mike Mayock, called him a cracker, had to be held back by Vontaze Burfict, and then punted a football down the practice field and said, "Fine me for that," which, as you can guess, he got fined for that. And he recorded a video where he used audio of John Gruden, who didn't know he was being recorded, which, by the way, is illegal in California. But full disclosure, Gruden said he gave permission, but the general accepted theory is that he said that in hope that it would get Mr. Big Chest to show up to the facility and not alienate him. But this did not work. Over the past month or so, with all the BS going on from the Raiders, he got released and he tweeted out this bizarre video.
They lost it. Let me see it.
Look up Adam Schefter.
The Raiders
Free!
Bro,
Then he signs with the New England Patriots, who are overwhelmingly destroying teams. He moved in with Tom Brady, but Antonio Brown did not last long in New England because the sexual assault allegations came out, and then more sexual harassment allegations came out. He threatened the woman not suing him in a group text that included his lawyer and had a picture of her kids in the text, and then he got released by the New England Patriots after 1 week. Then he went off on a tweet storm saying it was like crazy about, I don't know, he was supportive of people sending threats to the writer of the article detailing the harassment allegations. And then he said he was done with the NFL, proceeds to enroll in Zoom classes. He tried to outsource his homework to Twitter, and then he wanted to come back to the NFL. He said the Patriots have had to pay him anyway, so they may as well just let him play. He tweeted a couple of bizarre tweets about the Raiders using him for HBO ratings. He tried out for the Saints and Sean Payton and brought an entourage and film crew to shoot a music video with him when specifically told not to do that. He called out Robert Kraft for his, happy ending massage session in Florida. Started training for a boxing match with Logan Paul, and then the whole No More White Woman 2020 stuff. The attorney representing him in the suit revolving the condo quit. He used a bunch of slurs and profane language towards cops in an Instagram video he posted where he threw gummy bears in the size of penises at them. A police youth football league cut ties with him and returned a donation after a release of the video, saying there was an irreparable rift between the department and Antonio Brown. He was involved in a dispute with movers at his home where he allegedly threw rocks at movers and moving vans, and he was being investigated for battery by the police. His trainer was arrested, and he is still a suspect. And then a warrant was issued for the arrest of Antonio Brown, but then Antonio Brown, I forgot I was calling him Mr. Big Chest, he turned himself into Broward County Jail wearing the suit. Rumors spread about Antonio Brown signing with either Tampa or Seattle, but then Antonio Brown announced his retirement for what we believe is the third time. 2 days later, Antonio Brown said he wanted to play again and is asking for the league to wrap up its investigation. And then the NFL announced an 8-game suspension for Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown signed with the Buccaneers on a 1-year deal. And by the way, he ended up winning the Super Bowl, so good for him. Before he signed with the Buccaneers, Antonio Brown was accused of destroying a surveillance camera at a Florida gated community and throwing a bike at a security guard shack, and is not charged because the HOA president feared retaliation per a police report. Antonio Brown was under investigation by the NFL for the bike throwing incident. He allegedly acquired a fake COVID-19 vaccine card, confirmed to have a fake COVID-19 vaccine card, and was suspended for 3 games. Towards the end of the year, stuff just wasn't going well with his injury. He was mad at Bruce Arians. He tweeted x-rays and put on Instagram x-rays of his toe. But during the middle of the game between the Bucs and the Jets, he removed his jersey and pads and threw them into the stands before exiting the game, and he was subsequently cut from the Buccaneers for stripping on the field. I don't know what's going on with him, but at a point, this is no longer funny. At a point, we need to be like, okay, this guy needs professional help. So yeah, that is kind of the entire Antonio Brown saga summed up, and I hope you guys leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.